You ready? What's up? Good? Okay. All right, we had a really good practice today. I wanted to see how we would rebound after our first kind of pad day yesterday because they're a little bit sore today. We practiced better today than we did yesterday, which I thought was very encouraging. So, okay, go ahead.
When you've got so much inexperience at inside linebacker, you know, Rick's always been credited a lot for his intelligence, and I know he's showing a lot of leadership. How much more valuable is that because of the inexperience around him?
Well, it's extremely valuable because if a guy gets a little bit nervous out there on the big stage first time, he'll be able to help them, tell them, calm them down. And you know they're right there by each other, so that really helps too. But you know, Drew Lewis he played for us a lot last year on special teams, and he's a junior now and a redshirt junior, so I think he's got good experience on all that, so it's good.
Last fall, we heard a lot about the players policing the other players. Is that something you've seen with this group, or is that a work in progress?
No, I do see it. I see them being vocal leaders, which is important. And I've seen that multiple times on the practice field here. And then, of course, I see it around in other situations. But I've seen it more this year than I did last year this time. And it might be because we got some newer, younger guys out there, and they got to keep setting them straight. Not as far as getting on them, just about little things. You know, how we recover a fumble, how we run on off the field. You know, the things that make a huge difference. But they're having to learn the culture, and and it's been a good response by the younger guys on that too.
You guys did a little red zone goal line stuff. Is that nice to start getting into some of the specifics and things like that?
Yeah, yes, we hit a different area. Today was red zone, and we'll have on Thursday we'll have a little bit of a red zone compete, which is a little goal line and that type of thing. So yeah, it's fun, and you get to emphasize it and teach really well off of tape, and then as camp goes along, we'll make cut-ups of those areas, and then we can show them all the things how they've improved and different techniques we need to do and improve on. So
is that where you start to see some of the separation in some of the position battles you have, is when you start getting into situations?
Well, yeah, after we've done it a few times, then hopefully they understand it and they can handle those situations. You know, of course, turnovers are big in winning and losing football games, but situational football during a game, not just the situations you talk about on television about the clock and all that, situations within the drives, the distance on third downs, the distance in the red zone, when they're backed up, after a turnover, all those situations those kids got to understand, so we practice them a lot. And it's because you could be telling them in the game, but if they haven't practiced it, when they get out there, then they can take a deep breath, and then all of a sudden they make a play and something doesn't hurt you. So those are the difference makers in winning and losing games.
Every day one of your wide receivers seems to come up with some big catches. Is it fun watching that group?
Yeah, they're a good group. They're a good group. There's great competition out there between our DBs and our receivers. And I know that's why it makes our DBs better. That's why it makes our receivers better. Because there's good competition. There's good athletes going against good athletes. So when they show up on game day, yeah, we play good athletes, but they've been playing good athletes every day in practice. So that makes a big difference.
A year ago at this time, Bryce Bobo was having some reps at safety. What do you think led to his breakthrough, and what have you seen from him this offseason?
Well, like I said last year, he stayed healthy. And so we better not jinx me, okay? So make sure he stays healthy. So that's the whole key. If he stays healthy, he'll do well. And then we was playing good last year, and then he had that ankle rolled up. And then Kavion came in and played excellent the last two games, you know. So the good depth there, but him staying healthy.
When you see your freshmen show up this year, do they look different than they did 4 years ago, whatever it was when you started here?
Oh, yeah, we had a few guys that were, looked a little bit more mature, but a few years ago, a couple of those guys are for second-round draft choices, so they, you develop over time. But yeah, there was a few guys that showed up looking a little bit more mature and a little bit closer, ready to go.
Talk about this team's ability to rush the passer. Last year, Addison, Cheeto, Jimmy, not just your DNs and linebackers. Talk about who you see kind of taking that role. What are the steps you've seen Taron Hasselbeck take?
Yeah, Taron's rushed the passer. He's done that something good in the past. Tim Coleman has rushed the passer good. So I think those guys are guys that we expect to step up and do it. And there'll be some other guys emerge as we keep working on that. The other thing that's helping our pass rushing too, that help us in games, is our offensive line is better. Our tackles are dropping better, they're setting better, they understand it. So they've kept improving, and I've seen a big difference in that. So there's great competition there, which will start making our guys all better. You know, Jimmy had played for a long time and kind of sat there about 5 sacks, 6 sacks, and then last year he started being able to accelerate to the ball. Also, shout out to Jimmy. I got a call him. He tore his ACL yesterday. So I found out late last night. Adam Holiday called me today. So I feel bad for Jimmy Gilbert, but he'll bounce back.
How important is it to win the battle in the trenches of college football?
It's extremely important to win the battle of the trenches. Now, sometimes people think winning the battle of the trenches is you run for 200 yards. Well, you might run for 200 yards because your quarterback scrambles one time and runs for 50, and then they bust one little stunt and it goes. But to be able to keep on the offensive line, if you can keep your offense in a rhythm and not have a bunch of some negative plays that keep you, you have to watch a game and go, God, they're just not in rhythm. Well, that's usually because there's some things happening on the front. So you got to do that. Defensively, you want to disrupt and not let the offense stay in a rhythm. So that's what I try to look for, and try to do that. Sometimes they just associate just that with run game. It is particular big in run game, there's no doubt, but keeping an offense or disrupting an offense's rhythm really can get them out on a lot of third downs.
Thanks, Coach.